Good morning, YouTube. Good day, or whatever part of the world that you live in is coming to you from Music Can Change Your Life. And I'm here today with the first lesson. We're going to begin with the scales as is the best thing to start with, to get the foundation down, to get you start your skills, building your playing skills on the piano. And by the way, I appreciate you coming to my channel. This is Donald Turner, and if you would like, thumbs up, subscribe, and share. We appreciate all that you do for us. We're just out here to share our talent with you, share what we do know with the world of music. And I'm sure there's lots of you out there who really want to learn to play the keyboard. And this here lesson here will get you started. I'd like to say this one thing, that a lot of people think that it's impossible to play. This is my opinion. I don't think it's impossible, but the impossibilities can turn into possibilities, and we can turn that word impossible around and call it, to make it a phrase, I am positioned to achieve my possibilities. What are your possibilities? And we're relating this to music. Your possibilities, that's a broad term, but let's shrink it down and make it personal. And I am positioned to achieve my first lesson in music. How about that? So when you narrow it down, you can actually see your goal a little bit better than being too broad with that statement. When I was in college, the professors, threw me into a culture shock. When we were, all the students was there, we were ready for the first class, and the professor was up front doing this little introduction speech to the class, and he would ask a big question, and the question was, how do you eat an elephant? Oh boy, was I in shock when I heard that question. And the first big picture in my mind, I saw a great big great elephant standing there with me with a fork and knife ready to devour this big guy. And the thing is, my answer was wrong. And he gave us a big shock and say, one piece at a time. So that right there let me know, anything you do that's challenging, always take it in bits and pieces and don't try to overlearn. Just take your time and study this little stuff that I show you bit by bit, and you'll learn the scales, you'll learn the chords, you'll learn what it is to learn, and you'll be quite surprised in a few weeks of your improvement. So we're going to move on with this lesson, and we're going to start with the scale. We have the keyboard in front of you, and I'd like to point out the note names, and we're going to start out in the key of C major, and this is all white keys. You're looking here from C to C. I'm going to point out the notes, and I like to say, if you start at I'm going to point the position. Number one, the position of where you find, it's easy to find the key, the note C. And when you see these two black keys here, you're right to the very left of those two patterns, that two key pattern, two black key pattern. That's your C. Okay, if you start at the bottom of the keyboard, look to your left on the bass end and look at all the 2-pattern black notes, and right to the left is all your C's. That's C1, and this is on the 88 keyboard, so you'll know it's not a little Casios, a little bitty practice play. I call them toys, really, with the little bitty things like that. You want to use a full scale keyboard that where you can recognize what I'm talking about. So we'll look at C1 at the bottom, C2 coming up as an octave up, 8 notes up, C3, C4, C4 is middle C, okay, C5, C6, C7, and that very last note on the keyboard of the 88 key piano is the very high C, C8. So there's 8 C's on the keyboard. And there's a grouping of 3 black keys, and the very left of that is F. Okay, so these are your positions to give you a reference point of what you're looking for. Okay, C, B, A. Here is your F1 at the left of the keyboard. I don't know, you probably can't see it on the screen. F2 right here, F3, F4, F5, F6, and F7. Okay, so now you know where the positions of, if you want to find a C on all the patterns of 2 black keys, is your C note. Okay, to give you a reference point. And we're going to study the keys C, D, E, F, and G, the first 5 notes of the C major scale. Okay, and you have 5 fingers. Well, technically that's a thumb, right? But we're going to say 5 fingers. You have 1, thumb is 1, index is 2, middle finger is 3, ring finger is 4, and the pinky is 5. So it's the same here, thumb 1, index 2, middle 3, ring finger 4, and pinky is 5. Now on the keyboard, we're going to name these notes C, D, E, F, and G. And that's going to be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's important to note. So you can reference what you play with whatever number finger that there is that you have to play with. It's going to be the same number that you're going to play with on the keyboard. Okay? I'm not planning on taking you too fast. And these lessons are going to expand and expand and expand as we go. But right now, I'm going to take the little basic baby steps to understand the note names, so that you don't get crossed up when it's time to reference these points. Okay. And so I'd like to point out also that I'm sure that many of you are already familiar with what a quarter note looks like. Quarter note is a one count note. And the common time music, standard music, is one beat. You've heard that, I'm sure. Some of you that's new to this, you will learn it as we go through these lessons, and you'll understand that it's a very important thing to know. If you're going to be a musician, it's important to know. Some of you are aspiring musicians, learning to play at church. Some of you are in bands. Some of you are in other particular groups, and you're learning to do this, and you want a little bit more knowledge added to your library, that the brain, right? The heart, the brain, to learn these things. Okay, so we're going to get started, and you're in place. When placing your hand on the keyboard, I suggest that you curve your fingers. Try to play with flat fingers. That will not work. I can tell you that from experience. The thumb is positioned on its side. This is important to know. So when you curve your fingers, it's in this position here. See, this position. Just like that. Almost like a hand that is drawn up, sort of, but you're putting it in a position so you can easily manipulate the keys. So you lay your thumb on this side. The index finger is on D. Remember the note D. The middle finger's on 3. The ring finger's on 4. Remember what note this is when I first got started. F. And number 5, the pinky is G. So when you start playing, and I will add this note. Do not pedal the notes in the beginning. So you want to hear the sound ring out, but you don't want a long duration of the sound. Learn to play the notes sort of like what we would call dry. Don't worry about trying to make a melody right now and holding the pedal out. So we're going to play C, D, E, F, G. That's 1 through 5. Okay? With the left hand, position your hand in a position on the notes. As I have said about the right hand, curve the fingers. Thumb is on its side. Okay? And the pinky is actually on the 1. The 1 is the C. That's the root note of the scale. Begin playing. C, D, E, F, G. Okay? With the right hand, practice separate. So you that haven't gotten used to playing notes and balance with both hands, learn to play with the right hand separate, the left hand separate, so that you can get used to this. And what we do, we build muscle memory. The more we practice, we're building the skill, and eventually it will become automatic. So you play the short scale, which is 1 through 5, right hand, C, and make a habit of calling the note names, because this actually will transfer to automatic motion, and you also silently and your memory know what you're playing, you won't be doing this all the time. This is just for learning purposes only. Call the note names out. C, D, E, F, G. Okay. C, D, E, F, G. Okay, with the right hand, you want to play the same thing with the right hand, starting with the pinky finger going up 1 through 5 or C through G. Begin. C, D, E, F, G. Was that pretty good, right? Pretty good. Try it again. C, D, E, F, G. Very good. Now, we're going to go in the opposite direction. Call the note names from G down to C. And you want to begin with the right hand. Begin. G, F, E, D, C. Okay, was that easy enough? Get used to calling the note names, because you'll be able to frame a reference each time you practice, each time you play. Those of you who's learning notes, actually learning to read the music in the very beginning stages, this is what you're going to learn. It's just the order of music. It's the proper direction to become a good musician, a skillful musician. Some say good, I say skillful, because you build your skills over time. Go again. G, F, E, D, C. Okay, left hand. G, F, E, D, C. Try it again. Left hand. G, F, E, D, C. Very good. Okay, once you've gotten used to playing separate hands and it's become comfortable to do, then you want to start practicing with both hands. Now, I suggest that you do it in the same direction, same motion, until you can solidify this skill, and then start playing it in contrary motion. But we'll get to that in a minute. And so with both hands in position, see how my hands are lined up on each key and ready to play. Begin playing. C, D, E, F, G. Did y'all get that? Try it again. C, D, E, F, G. Okay, very good. Now I want to do in reverse order. As we went up, we want to go down the keyboard. Begin on G. Both hands ready, in position. Remember, curve your fingers. Ready, play. G, F, E, D, C. How was that? Try it again. G, F, E, D, C. And wasn't that fun? So the more you do this, the greater your skills become. Okay, now I mentioned the word contrary motion. Okay, and with the right hand, we're going to go up, and the left hand, we're going down the scale, right? The right hand, you're going to begin on your thumb on C and go up. The left hand, you're going to start on G, the thumb, and go down. The fingers are actually moving in contrary motion, but the same fingers are being applied at the same time. If it's your thumb, both thumbs, both indexes, both middle, and so on. So we begin to play. One more time. Okay. Now we're going to go in reverse order. Again. Okay. I'm going to try it one more time. Now, I didn't mention this in the beginning, but when you're playing your scales, you want to play evenly with both hands. When you're playing, you want to make sure each one is applied simultaneously. You don't want it to sound off, but you want it to be the same. You want it to sound the same. So that way there's not a clashing in the sound, which makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, the next step I would like to show you, and I'm hoping that you're getting something out of this first lesson of the 1 through 5. And I'm going to briefly show you the octave passage, which is a little bit more challenging, but I think it's a good thing to show you that because the 5 finger is good, but then I'm going to add this to give you a little bit more to practice on for the next week. All right, now we're going to name these notes all the way up to the next C. Remember what I said, octave mean 8. When you think about a stop sign, it's called octagon. It's got 8 sides to it. So this, in the musical term, the musical arena, they call it octave. Okay, and we're going to name the notes all the way up. And this is actually 7, but we're going one more to make it an octave. Makes it easier to understand. So we're going to C, D. This here is a whole step. When you playing from C to D, it's a whole step because you got a half step note in between the two. And D to E is a whole step because you have a half step in between the two notes. E to F is a half step. There is no note between E and F. F to G is a whole step. because there's a half step between the notes. Are you getting this? Makes it simple to understand music once you know what you're doing and what you're doing with it and where you're going and such. Okay, that's F to G as a whole. G to A is a whole because you have a half step between the two notes. A to B is a whole step because you have a half step between the two notes. And B to C is a half step. Guess why? Right, because there's no half step between the two notes. It's a half step by itself. Okay. All right, now with the right hand, we're going to proceed, and I'm going to step you through this. When you go C, D, E, that's 1, 2, 3, and when you're transitioning up to F, you're placing your thumb under the hand, you're crossing under to the next note. I'm showing you this step by step so you understand how to manipulate and use your finger and the musical patterns to simplify your skills. C, D, E, F. And fingers go back into position. See that? C, D, E, F. Also want to mention, always relax your wrist. Don't play stiff, because the truth about it, over time you can really injure your hand muscles. You can cause injury to your hands if you don't know how to apply the skill. And this is part of skill playing. Relax your wrist when you play, and you'll see that you'll be less fatigued. If you become fatigued, then stop for a while and rest and go back to it later. But C, D, E, F, G, that's 2, A, B, C. And B in the key of C is the leading tone because it leads back to 1. C is a root note, and this C is 1. Let's try it again. C, D, E. Remember how when I went to E? And this, I'm doing it slow, but in real motion, when I hit C, my thumb is there already to play the next note. Okay, very good. Now, coming back down the scale, the same way we went up, we're going back down, but we're crossing over. When you're on F, you're going to cross back over on, remember, E is 3, and the middle finger is 3, 2, and 1. So let's go. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Get that? Remember the crossover point is E and F. Try it again. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. So, remember, not both hands in the beginning, but play with separate hands. Remember, guys, in order to learn effectively, to build your skills, one hand at a time. And then put both hands together and play and practice until you build muscle memory, automation. You want to become automatic with it. Go again. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay? With the left hand, remember, coming down with the right hand, the same finger positions with the left hand going up. Want to try that? C, D, E, F, G, cross over. Remember, we crossed over coming down. A, B, C. Let's try that one more time. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, now, remember what I said, it's easy to let the fingers do the same thing in the beginning. That way you're used to doing it until you get to the contrary motion side. You're going in opposite directions and the hands are going to be doing, fingers are going to be doing a little different things. I'll do it one more time. Now when you're going up and going down, when you're going upscale and you're going away from, the contrary motion away from the other. Let's try it again. Okay, now that pretty much covers these scales here. I think that might be enough for you to chew on for the next week or so. I'm, don't want to throw too much in there at one time, because I know when I was taking lessons and I was studying these lessons, and I'm going to tell you, it can get to be pretty taxing. And I want you to have an enjoyable time, an enjoyable day with the rest of your practices, and, just have fun doing it. Don't make it a chore. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. And pretty soon you'll be learning basic tunes and understanding what am I doing with what I know. This is the question for your own self. What am I doing with what I know? And you will pretty soon become a skillful player. Practice, practice, practice. Don't eat the whole elephant overnight. Enjoy the elephant, cut off a little bit each day, and take a bite. And you'll learn that you'll be much successful at what you're doing. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for viewing my channel. And we're going to be hopeful together in the future that you guys are going to be excited each week. You're going to learn a little bit more each week. We're going to move on to not just the scales. We're going to move to the chords and arpeggiations to teach you how to roll these chords out and not just play simple chords, but you'll be able to manipulate the chords and make a beautiful tune as you go. So hey guys, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe and share, and we thank you for your time today. Enjoy the rest of your day.